A live studio audience. I've always wanted one. You might be wondering who I am. You could call me Transmission, a flicker from the past. I'm here for a talk show. There have been many talk shows, They talk about the talk shows of the 90s. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the talk shows of the 90s. I think they got a lot wrong. But we have a talk show tonight, and I came here from the distant past, Sicily, Baghdad, the Yucatan. I've been everywhere. But I heard that there was a trans woman who wrote a book called Trans Studies. Trans Studies, whatever that is. But we're going to find out, apparently. And we have her here, and we could call them guests. Guests. But first I want to talk to all of you who decided to come to this talk show. Why are you here?
Because I love Crystal.
You love Crystal? Why do you love Crystal?
Because she's an amazing human being.
That's a very nice answer. Thank you. Anyone else? You want to see bitches fight? Wow. That's a different energy. Amazing, amazing. Okay, we need some more answers. We have fighting, we have love. What else? What? I didn't hear that. Okay. What else do we have?
Free pizza.
Free pizza. Okay. One more answer. Come on. Okay. Well, let's bring the author on herself. Let's have Crystal up here.
Hello. Hi. Could this be louder? Hey, Molly. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Hey, everybody.
So. Hello? Okay.
Are we fighting?
Maybe. Okay. Well, we have one wish fulfilled tonight. So first I want to ask you, this book, why write a book like this?
Why write a book like this? Okay. I want to be goofy about this. I think when we originally had this idea, I wanted to be really silly and fun. And I do want it to be fun, but obviously everything that's been going on this week, it's just taking it down, the temperature down a little bit. And so, just, I guess, to be real about the book, it's like one day I woke up and I wanted to be a woman so bad that if I wasn't, I would die, right? That's real. And only to then learn that a woman can be whatever she wants to be, even if he's a man. So at some point in gender transition, I was kind of like, if gender if a woman doesn't exist, or does she exist, what am I doing? Why do I want to do this so bad? If this is a thing that is just, they say gender is just a performance, right? Maybe you've heard this, gender is performance. So why would I do something so badly that I would lose my family, lose my friends, and become an enemy of the state just to wear a dress? If I could just look any which way and still call myself a woman, what was I doing and why? And I think so desperately I need an answer to this question, why? So this book came out of all of that.
Yeah.
And you also talk a lot about wisdom in this book.
Wisdom.
Hello.
Hello. I was doing it wrong.
I got you.
Wisdom. How does wisdom factor in for you with this book?
I don't know. This is a scary question. Like, I can speak to my own experience, but wisdom sounds so big. Wisdom sounds like you're speaking for all of humanity, and I just can't do that. I don't think I can. I'm just like a little piece of it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reminds me of another word you use a lot in the book, which is normal, and you question that a lot. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, what is normal? Not me, not us. There's nothing normal about this. I guess when I think of normal, I'm thinking of, I read a lot of trans studies. Like, do you even know what trans studies is? It's so niche. There are these people who kind of like think about trans stuff, like write about trans stuff in an academic kind of way. And one of my favorite writers, Cameron Awkward-Rich, I think of him when, in writing this and thinking about normal, in terms of maladjustment. So like there's a lot of like defense when we talk about being queer and trans people that we're totally normal. We're actually just like you. We're totally normal, right? And this insistence on being normal in order to be treated as human beings, which I totally get that. I think that's a fight. I think people should be do whatever you need to do to feel good about yourself. I think like when everything began to fall apart for me, like I'm not okay, and I think that has to be okay too. Like there is this feeling that I have sometimes that I am multiple people, that I'm not one person. And I know that sounds wackadoo, but maybe this idea that we are that the self is singular is an illusion that a lot of people need to kind of like have a coherent sense of self. And that's great, like do that, baby. But maybe that's all it is, right? It's like a little bit of a dream, a little bit of a play. And it's like there's like in the book I talk about this, like there's moments in which I'm like, oh my god, like with my girlfriend, like, we're humping each other's legs. I'm like, I'm a lesbian. Like I have always been a lesbian, I'm a lesbian, like totally. And then 2 seconds, like then I'm like going down on my boyfriend and I'm just like, he could face fuck me forever. I am a heterosexual woman. I want this forever. Like, this is it. This is my life. It doesn't make any sense, like I think it's okay to hold these multiple things. So like maybe that makes me unwell. Like maybe that makes me maladjusted, not normal, and that I don't know. Like maybe are we all like this? I don't even want to make that claim because I think everybody's got their own shit to figure out, their own journeys and stuff like that. So I don't know what normal is. I just know that I can't be it.
Yeah, you talk about dream people in here. You talk about dream people, you talk about confused people. Who are some of your dream people?
I don't even know what that question's asking, but I love it. Who are your dream people?
My dream people. Well, let's see.
How's the crowd?
Yeah.
What does this mean to you people? Dream people.
Dreams.
Like crushes?
Crushes is one option.
There's too many in this room. I start a fight.
A fictional person that you make up so that you always avoid actually having a real relationship.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, you're coming for us.
You're my
Yes.
dream people.
Gets points. You get a free drink after this. Free book. You get a free book. I don't know, to dream people, I was thinking, first thing that pops in my mind about dream people is, I think I talk about this in the book. That me and my endocrinologist, he does a lot of these studies, and he's like, if you ever, like, we're always doing these studies. Do you have any ideas for studies? I'm like, baby, what are you even talking about? So I'm like, I'll give you a study. He's talking about like, patch versus injection, like stuff like this. And I start going on this tangent about like, okay, so I had this dream last night that I was like, I'm not going to tell you the dream. It's too weird.
Tell us.
No.
I think they want to know.
It's swappy. It's very body swappy. Like I was just basically having sex with myself in this dream as my old self, but with like the self as I am now, and it's just too weird. It's too weird. And I began to think about how interesting it could be to talk to trans people, queer people, right? Of all sides, like as you change, your conception of yourself changes. Do your dreams, like that self that you are in your dreams, sometimes does that change? And at like what point does it change, right? Like how does your subconscious self change with like your reality self? What is the relationship between those things? That seems pretty fucking important to know, right? Like to the field of psychology. Do you like how you project into your subconscious your own idea of yourself versus your reality self? Nobody cares.
I care.
Okay, maybe I'm alone. I woke up at like 4 a.m. I'm like writing this on my phone. I'm like just like this gotta be her. He didn't care either, but
Did you make yourself come?
what's that?
Did you make yourself come?
I probably wake up before then. So sorry, I know.
Keep dreaming.
So speaking of some pretty old dreams, you talk about the Jesus a lot in this book. You talk to him a few times in here. What's up with that?
Oh God. Yeah, I'm guilty. Like I'm totally guilty of this. Yeah, it's kind of weird. In the book, again, this is like the book was written kind of at one of the worst parts of my life, to be honest. It's a little bit of a downer. It's the good thing is that I hate myself enough that there's good, like a lot of grim humor in the book to keep you going. But yeah, it's a downer. And I found myself at these points doing these direct addresses to God or Jesus or Daddy or some sort of something, and I had no idea why. I really at the time, I was just lost and struggling. Everybody in this, I feel like everybody's in this room is going to hate me for saying this because we're a bunch of queer people, but I started going to church recently. For the record, I'm like a lifelong atheist. I was never baptized. I'm definitely going to hell. Like that's, just don't let's not mistake. But I started like about six weeks ago, 2 months ago. I started going to church. I was invited. I said yes to be nice, and I could not stop going. I kept going every week to service at a queer church in Cornwall Park. I mean, it's wall-to-wall gay people. Like, it's all gays. It's just amazing. They're great people, and it just clicked for me. Like, why? What was I reaching for? What was I doing there? Like, what was I needing at this point when I was struggling? And I think that's this space has been showing me that I needed love and belonging. Like, yes, exactly. So it's really not like that big of a deal, but it is so special to be in a space in which you can see other people loving other people. Like, I know we do I think we're doing a fair job here tonight, folks. Thank you for talking. To like feeling like we're actually here in this room, like that you're a human being and we're here in time and space together, right? Like, I it sucks because there's still this like audience person dynamic, but to I feel like sometimes when we're in these queer reading spaces or something, there's still this disconnect between audience and subject, and you go, it's a spectacle. You don't get to like have these human moments. There's a lot of social anxiety, which a lot of us struggle with. I certainly do. That kind of like keeps it from feeding that thing that we really need, right? And yeah, I guess I was just lucky enough. Like I still don't know what to make of this idea of God, but to be in a space where it feels like we can acknowledge that we exist, we have the capacity for love, and we can kind of do God in this space together by saying, I love you. Right? Like, yes, church. Which, Miss Barton, you get a shout out in the book, and you are church, yes!
Multiple names. But wait, okay. So
Speaking of church,
that
she's here.
was a very beautiful thing. In this book, you also reveal that you once sold your friends poetry books at half price books. And the question I have is, which book? Like,
Now it's time to bring in a special guest. No, these like $55. Or like, I sold a lot of books, like a whole shelf of books. And at $55, and I was so depressed. Like, it's like it's for trans surgery shit, you get a bill, you can't pay for it, and they're like, oh yeah, this thing's like $30,000. You're like, I'm gonna sell everything I own. Here's $55. Okay, well I guess, yeah.
Amazing. Well, I have a lot more questions for you, but I'm going to bring your therapist on stage. So now we have
Do we have sound for this mic? It's the one recorded.
We should.
Can you hear me? Yes. You just don't to the mic.
No.
Okay. How about now? Does it sound better?
I can go ask Bradley.
we could share.
Yeah, we could.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Glad to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh wait, I think I got it. Hang on. Try now.
Hello.
Yay! Woo! Community theater.
So, Jessica, you are Crystal's therapist. And what was your first session with Crystal like?
So, Crystal, when you first came in, you were in a really difficult place. Very sad, very depressed. It was a very hard time. Most people come into psychotherapy in a dark time, in a very hard time. Very few people sign up for psychotherapy because life is going great. So we can kind of essentially think about it as being in the underworld.
The underworld.
The underworld. And that shows up in mythology. A lot of mythological motifs see the underworld. But some of my orientation is Jungian, the work of Dr. Carl Jung. And a lot of Jungians see the underworld as a metaphor for depression, going through a very difficult time, being trapped, feeling suffocated, feeling as if you're in a place that you cannot get out of. I think, Crystal, when you came to see me, at least the first time, it was that kind of a place.
Is that all there is about the underworld, though? I mean, the underworld is such a big concept. What else?
It's a
What else do people need to know about the underworld?
Yeah, that's a very big and important topic. The underworld, as it shows up in mythology, a lot of the heroes and goddesses, gods go down in there, and it's not even an easy place to get to. And once you get there, it's even harder to get out of. And I recently did a presentation for the Young Society looking at the goddesses that go in the underworld. And we had the Sumerian goddess Inanna, who goes down to the underworld, and she goes in her own choice. She chooses it. We've got the Greek Persephone, who is kidnapped and abducted and pulled down under there. And then we've got the Roman Psyche, who's caught between two terrible choices. You know, Aphrodite tells her she better go down into the underworld or she's going to kill her. And I think, Crystal, when you came in, it was very much Inanna. You chose it. It wasn't easy. You knew it would be hard, but you chose to go into the underworld.
That's sweet.
Say more about Inanna. Who is she?
Inanna is a very powerful goddess. She's Sumerian. Her story shows up about 3,500 BCE, so before the Common Era. Her brother-in-law has died, and she's going down for the funeral rites, and she is told that you can never come back if you go down. So she tells her servants, if I don't come back, come and get me. And so I think that's one of the things that we sometimes have to do in psychotherapy when we're going to go down there. The therapist is the person who's going to help us come back up.
So you've been to the underworld too.
Many times. As a therapist in the role of trying to help someone down there, but I have my own experience of being deeply depressed and being, so the other way you can see the underworld is not only is it a place, it's depression, but it's also that deep work we do in psychotherapy. You have to go down into your psyche. I like what you were talking about the different parts and the different parts of you and how human beings are so much more multifaceted. And so I think we have to go down and see those different parts and understand them in order to be able to come back up. So it's also a metaphor for psychotherapy, going down into the depths.
Yeah. Was there anything special about working with Crystal as a client? How did things progress?
Krista, it was so amazing working with you. I think the thing that moved me most about you was your bravery. Your bravery, that you would be willing to do this hard work, because it's not an easy. A lot of people come into psychotherapy like Persephone. Somebody gets cancer, somebody dies, they get pulled into it. There's no choice. You chose it. Just like Inanna, you chose to go down in there and look at all the hard stuff.
So, speaking of hard stuff, just a weird question, like medical confidentiality, like, do you just come on talk shows and talk about your clients? I mean, I invited you, but I didn't know if you would actually come.
That's a very legitimate question. Because under any circumstances, this would be considered hideously unethical. And so, dear audience, I must confess to you, I'm an actor.
Did anyone, who hired you?
I can't say, but I'm an actor.
Okay. Well, good work.
Thank you.
I hope this only brings good things to your career.
Thank you.
Have you had any other appearances?
Yeah, I've been in some plays and commercials and lots of things. And I guess if I had an aspiration, it would be to play Lady Macbeth.
Why Lady Macbeth?
She's a very nuanced character.
Nice. Well, Crystal, do you have anything to ask?
Well, I guess I want to say that my actual therapist is here in the room, and I love you and thank you for helping me so much through this process. I feel like I say this like everybody in this room, but like I wouldn't be here today if you weren't able to like sustain me and to keep me going and to keep me knowing that more is possible and to keep that flame and that beat alive. It was really a dark time. I think if I'm remembering it correctly, I was just so struggling with this idea of like, is there an essential womanhood? Like, what is a woman? You want to be a woman. Is there an essential womanhood? And I remember her asking me, well, okay, maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but maybe like undoing everything, like digging into like the whys and like looking for one. Maybe that's not the way to what you're looking for, right? Maybe undoing is not the way to find the thing. Maybe it's actually by doing. Maybe it's like whatever we create, right? It's like whatever you do, want to be, play. And like that's just a different momentum. And it's been the greatest gift. Like that was the answer. And thank you. So yeah, and thank you for being fucking game. I love all this about the other world. Yes.
You're not gonna test that. So we do have another guest. Well, we have more than one guest, but our next guest is a nice man who likes trans girls. So we have one more guest, and
Mystery guest.
this is our mystery guest. And I don't know if he's going to show up, but I did ask Jesus if he was busy tonight.
Should I wash your feet or something? I didn't read the Bible yet.
So, Jesus. Was it a long road to get here?
Well, it was bumpy. Though I'm not unused to walking on water. But Missouri is something else. I drove. I didn't drive myself. I wasn't going to. Somebody else was going to drive me. But they asked me to take the wheel. And I reached out. They thought I was trying to rob them. Ended up on the Post-Dispatch.
So, a lot of people are sort of Post-Dispatch, okay.
God listens to you.
Yeah. So, a lot of people are speaking in your name these days. What do you have to say to them? Or who are you?
Thank you for asking. A lot of people say to me, they say, Lord, Lord. But they do not know who I am. And I say, I do not know who you are. But it's very simple. I am simply the Son of God, the Son of Man. I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. The sacrificial lamb, the great I am.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Does anybody have any questions?
So, actually, oh my god. Okay, oh my god. It's for the chaser. I feel like we skipped over the most obvious question. I want to know, what is it exactly about trans women that you love? And caveat, if you like those of us with dicks, what is about the obsession about trans women's dicks?
That's a real question.
Don't be shy.
So my title should not have an S on it. Crystal's the only trans woman that I've dated. Obsession with dicks. I mean, I like dicks, but I don't care who they're on. Yeah.
Were you scared to say yes to me because you're like your first?
No,
So why not though? Like you're like what? Like
I don't know. I mean, I just came across your profile, swiped, had lunch with you when I
yeah,
came to town.
totally. Yeah, we've totally vibed as me. We have like a photo, but like it was like really amazing. We had a wonderful time, but like you realize that's unnormal. Or like and again, I use the term like I hate that word, but like
Right.
you know, so what is?
That's in the RAV4.
It has Camry vibe.
That's it. I get it. It's higher off the ground.
So, Jesus, I have a question. On page 26. Crystal says that there are a few things that might help her resurrect common ground with you. 1. Fanatic blabbers of autobiography. 2. Once lived as a man. 3. Big hair energy. 4. So much drama to name ourselves. And 5. Knowing deeply where our holes are. Make me stop. That's the page. Do you think these are grounds to resurrect the relationship?
Well, on the topic of dicks, I feel like resurrection. They happen in many contexts. And I feel like, you know, you've been coming to my house lately. But we've been talking. Oh. I mean, there's a few people here who have stopped returning my phone calls. And, you know, it's never too late.
You should text.
You can text.
Signal is more secure.
There's nothing more secure than a simple prayer.
Question for Crystal. How many people in this room have you fucked?
Jesus.
Take your time.
It's not as many as you would imagine. Like, I mean, come on. Define fucked. Like, do I have to answer this question? Really?
No.
Okay, no, yeah, next question.
But this actually kind of goes along with the last question. This is for Crystal. Will you go on a second date with me?
Baby. Yes. Daddy, yes.
It's mommy, but don't worry about it.
Mommy, yes. Please, thank you. Please and thank you, mommy.
Oh,
girl. We do. Oh, question.
Oh, I have a question for your therapist, actually. I wanted to know your thoughts on Crystal's thoughts about the psyche and relationship transition and seeing the self in different genders. Do you have thoughts on that?
I think she'd make a great Jungian analyst.
Yeah.
That was when you were talking, I thought, oh, how Jungian. Well, just that you're willing to think about things in tension of the opposites and not seeing things in black and white, and there are many shades of gray, and that things are very nuanced and nothing is just all one way.
She's actually a therapist in the record. Like she knows her shit. Like this is not just like an actor. So yes, that is true.
Crystal, do you read the fuck out of anybody or anything or institution in this book? Or, yeah. Who gets cussed out, basically? You want it out.
The other therapist.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Well, we could start there. I guess it's on the institution, but a lot of the book is, like, it started, just this idea of, like, writing into the archive, right, that, like, writers do, where you kind of, like, look at, like, trans or queer of color archives and begin to think about, like, the ways in which you've been erased, and in thinking about that, like, I really struggled to kind of like project myself in any kind of like historical context. It's like I really can't feel like I'm an authority of anything except myself, and maybe that's a failure of imagination. But then I kind of like I'm gonna fail harder, and all I'm going to do then is collect the archive of myself, which was like Instagram posts and like letters with my therapists and emails to insurance companies. And I'm gonna compile all that stuff, and eventually became this book. And one of the things, like the threads throughout this book, is me dealing with my first therapist before I saw counselor Catherine. And you have to, based on our current healthcare system, you have to basically get these like letters of support from mental health professionals to say you can get X and Y surgery and insurance will cover it. So like, even if that counselor, who will remain nameless, was a quote unquote ally, was a nice enough person, like reading this, she generates a letter which is based off of quotes, which includes quotes of my session with her, and you're like reading this letter, and it was just like really hard to read her characterization of myself as being somebody who was not well, not in the way that like I've been talking about, but yeah, somebody in a way that somebody who's like really broken and needed fixing, which is not exactly how I see myself. So I think that was like really unfair, and like she just basically didn't get it, right? And how could she? So I try not to be too hard on anybody, right? I think we can only see as far as our like experience teaches us. But goddamn, if that wasn't awful to read, and I could have done without her, and I've never seen her again. And there's, if you need a recommendation to trans-friendly counselors, there's people who are actually going to be supporting you and not just like burning you along the way. Please DM me and let's get you set up. So it should be like we shouldn't even have to do this shit. You should be able to walk into somebody's office who's just like, this is trash. You don't even need, like, this is beneath you. So let's just get you what you need in order to get you the care you need, right? Like that's what you should expect, rather than like somebody like writing about every one of your childhood experiences and being like, see, this is why she's shitty. This is why she's shitty. This is why she's shitty. So you need help her. So Sorry, that was a long answer, but
Those are great.
yeah.
Hello. This is a question for Crystal again. Why are you so obsessed with colds? You talk about the cult a lot in your book. Colds. Colds. I don't know how to enunciate.
Is that why you're going to church?
Cults, yeah, cults of the family is actual cults. I think is the line from the book. Like in Another Life, I wrote a novel. Nobody knows about this because I was a different person or feel like a different person. It's about these kids in the woods who basically form a cult. And then like turns out like years later, like I write this book and yeah, there's stuff about cults in this book and I think what is your name? The white house, yes.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, Zill or Henry.
Henry, Zill.
What's up? Hey.
Hey, you're incredible. I love the energy you're bringing to this. Everything you're saying is like, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, this is probably why I'm going to church. Like, everybody here in this room probably knows I'm polyamorous. And like, every time I sit down and have a conversation with somebody about non-monogamy or polyamory, I'm just like, yeah, and I really like, my bio family like abandoned me. And I'm just like, I watched this documentary about these on Netflix about these two lesbians who like had an amazing time in Chicago, and then when they got in their 60s, they moved to the suburbs, and all their friends were dead, and then they slowly died, and they died alone in the suburbs of Chicago until some neighbor boy helped one of them get to the hospital, like, and watch, like, it's just the saddest existence for queer people that you can possibly imagine. And I keep telling people, like, I told everybody I know that I love, especially you, Jesus, this story, because I keep thinking, I don't want to die alone. I don't want to be in a house that's silent. Like, I don't want to die alone. And I don't care if that makes me like a weak or sad person. Like, I want to be in a house full of laughter and love. And I think if you want that, you should have that too. And I'm not saying that family is the answer to that, or like it has to be a live-in situation. But maybe for me it does. And I'm tired of being apologetic about that. Like, I'm sorry, but forming the only sense of security that we can possibly have is based around the couple, the romantic couple dyad, even like with our friendships, we can only understand as like two people. That's not enough for me, and I don't think it's sustainable. Honestly, I think that the fact that we try to form lasting relationships in a romantic model, you do you. I think it's going to continue to fail because it's not enough. That we need a broader sense of like love and belonging. We need each other, and that's in a material way too. I don't want to just be like, it's not just about like money and stuff like that, but like you need support. Who's going to take you to the hospital? Like, who is going to help you down the stairs? Who's going to feed you when you can't feed you after a surgery or something like that? And it might not be your partner. But like, your partner's got shit to do. They might have a day job. Like, you need fucking people at some point, especially if you're queer and you may or may not be having children, for God's sakes. So like, just sense of like the end and what it means to age is real, no matter like how old you are right now, right? And I don't want to freak you out. These are things that keep me up at night. Please, I hope you sleep well after this event. To go back to the cult question.
Where can we join?
I think this is related of a sense of like, I think you're right, that like, I need a sense of, or crave a sense of belonging and like of people and a kind of like ride or die ship, a family, and at the same time, I've watched so many cult documentaries on Netflix that I know that when we get in these groups, we can be so toxic, right? That like suddenly we have a language and norms and behaviors that begin to curtail everybody's freedoms and their own sense of beings and growings, right? We start to dominate each other, right? We start to do what we learned how to do to each other, these people we're supposed to love. And the cycle repeats and it destroys itself and it breaks, and I'm so fucking sick of it. I want more than this. I need more than this. And I want more than this before I fucking die. And if you are one of those people too, please find me. Because, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm proud of it. Jesus is real.
All right, let's give it up for all of our guests.